In this video, we want to talk about how people learn languages. Learning a language requires language exposure, a lot of it. But what do we mean by language exposure? Well, think about how babies learn languages, whether spoken or signed. As a baby, you're surrounded by a language all the time. You hear it from your family in the house, while playing games or during meals, and from your community when you're out and about. Babies are like sponges and will learn the languages that surround them simply by being exposed to them. In this video, we will talk about the ways that language exposure in a community can decrease over time. We will talk about ways that you can increase language exposure in your community. And finally, we will talk about what it means to learn a language. It's important to keep in mind that not everyone has fluency as the end goal of language learning.
A robust language will be used in many different places in the community. If language exposure in the community decreases, it will be harder for babies and adults to learn the language, though. There's lots of things that can affect this, like economic pressures, a lack of educational resources, or prejudices about the language or community. If usage shrinks over time, people won't have as much experience with the language, so it'll be harder for them to learn it. Let's take an example from the Badi community in Northern Australia. When today's grandparents and great-grandparents were children, they heard a lot of Badi. Their parents used it a lot, and they used it with their kids and with each other. They were surrounded by it. But over the years, English has become more widespread, and so Badi kids today hear a lot more English and Creole than Badi. As a result, the grandparents and great-grandparents are very proficient in Badi, but the grandkids today haven't learned as much. A possible reason language exposure decreases is because of misconceptions about how children learn. Some adults worry that raising children with 2 or more languages might confuse them or set them back in school. In fact, in most of the world, multilingualism is actually more common than using just one language. Knowing more than one language doesn't confuse kids. Bilingual kids actually tend to do better in school than kids from backgrounds where they're discouraged from using their home language. Luckily, decreases in language exposure can be reversed. If language use expands, that will make language learning easier overall. One example of a successful language revitalization program is run by the Mia Mia Language Committee. They run language and community trips where families get together to speak in language. These programs support family members using the language with each other as well as across households, so new speakers can learn from each other. We have a few more examples of these types of language programs below the video. To learn a language, you need to observe it and practice it a lot. One place this can happen is in the classroom. You can also increase exposure in many other places though, often in small and simple ways.
Think about who language users are spending time with and what languages they're observing.
You want more?
Try to use your language inside the home if you're able, and if there are adult language users in your community, arrange for childcare with them or visit local shows and storytelling in your language. Some kids might not respond to this immediately, but it does have a long-term effect.
And you know what? This is actually something that applies to people of all ages. Something that's especially helpful for adults is just narrating what you see around you in your language. It might feel silly, but saying something like, "Oh, look, there's a banana peel on the floor, better not slip on it," in your language can lead to increasing capacity as you go.
It's also important to increase awareness of language use in other ways, such as making language more visible in our communities. Seeing it around in the form of signage, for example, can reinforce its importance and accessibility. This includes posters and labels in the classroom, at the grocery store, and even post-it notes at home. Finally, we wanted to bring up the idea of language fluency. What does it mean to know a language? It doesn't make sense to give a single definition here, because different communities might have different goals. For some communities, this means becoming an expert language user with a deep understanding of vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Others might want to increase awareness about the heritage language or languages through teaching useful everyday phrases and vocabulary. And others might want to teach about the language rather than in the language. It's important to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all approach or outcome to language revitalization or reclamation. The end goals will greatly depend on your particular objectives and needs. What's important is that it feels right for you and your community.